On an utterly ordinary day, this incredibly bored office worker from Tokyo was working late as always, with nothing fun awaiting him after work. Lost in his captivating little world, he didn't even notice the red light, and a truck kindly crashed into him, gently sending him flying down a quiet and silent street. In a dark and rainy forest, an abandoned baby magically appeared. Fast-forwarding in time, that delightful boy, Shin Walford, now with a long 8 years under his belt, lives a wild life in a cozy cabin amidst the bustling noise of the city. Raised by his awesome grandfather, the wizard Merlin, who looks after him as if he were his own. Shin has those crystal-clear memories from his previous life in Japan, but now he's in a place where magic is an entirely commonplace event. One day, after impressively flaunting his strong magical muscles during a relaxing stroll in nature, he heads home. Magic's a big freaking deal in this place, and you gotta choose to be the good guy or screw it all up. Legend has it, there was this super powerful magician who went full-on dark side demon and nearly destroyed the whole kingdom. But Merlin, being the oh-so-great hero he is, saved the day back then. On their first demon hunt together, Merlin tries to sense any demon vibes. This whole magical radar thing is totally legit, and Shin, he's got it down. He feels not just the living vibes, but somehow zeroes in on a demon nearby. They jump right into action, and Shin, sword in hand, is all business. With his rad magic skills, he takes down the demon, leaving Merlin totally shocked. Back home, as night falls, Melina and Michael are on the edge of their seats, listening with their mouths hanging open in awe, as Shin so humbly regales them with the epic tale of how he single-handedly took down that demon like the magical hero he is. They hang on his every word, amazed at how incredibly skilled and powerful Shin is. They're so impressed by his fast learning magic and those ancient spells. They're starting to wonder if there's more to Shin's origin story than meets the eye. The next day, Michael is eager to help Shin polish up his basically non-existent sword skills. Apparently, sword skills are where Shin is a total disaster. After their session, Merlin takes Shin aside for a little heart-to-heart. He reveals that Shin is not actually his grandson at all. Shin had already maybe figured as much. Then Merlin shares the whole dramatic backstory. After some demon wreaked complete havoc around here, Merlin went searching to pay respects to the tragically fallen, as you do. During that, he heard a baby crying ever so sadly and eventually found little Shin just chillin' there. What a coincidence. The demon Shin had killed was the very one that did this unspeakable evil. Crazy. Despite it all, Shin takes it well, feeling like he avenged his parents even though he doesn't remember them at all. Merlin gets all teary hearing him say that, bawling his eyes out. Fast forward 5 years and it's time for Shin's 15th birthday bash. Huge deal since he's a grown-up now. One of their friends asks what his genius master plan is next. Shin's thinking about checking out a nearby town, but Christina and Siegfried have other, way better ideas, of course. How about joining the Royal Squad or going pro-demon hunting? So then, this merchant dude starts blabbing about the Z Hunter Club, which hunts demons for money. Shin, the boy, is clueless about the world beyond the forest. He's just been doing his little magic thing this whole time. He then zaps everyone to this super barren place with a spell. Shin lets out these puny blue flames and an entire mountain? Gone. Just like that. Everyone's jaws hit the floor. Back at the cabin, they're all chatting about how Shin should see the world. But they worry other kingdoms might try to snatch him up, 'cause the kid's so powerful. He's just some naive villager who doesn't know what's up. Then Decium chimes in why not the Magic Academy? Merlin's a bit suspicious, though. Decium isn't just some guy. He's actually King Decium of Ariashide. And Christina, Royal Guard material. Siegfried, a court mage. Michael, former knight commander, bro, no big deal. Decium gets all nostalgic and shares how back in the day, Merlin and Melina were the heroes who saved his kingdom from a nasty demon when he was just a young prince. So now they're like celebs and total BFFs. A month later, Shin heads to the capital with his grandparents. When they arrive, a guard announces, "The legendary heroes have returned to the city." Talk about a warm welcome. They stay in a fancy, schmancy royal guest house. While Merlin and Melina are busy, Shin explores the city solo. While wandering around, Shin comes across 3 lame demon hunters harassing a pair of girls. He steps in and quickly sends the dudes packing with his mad skills. One of the girls, Maria, thanks Shin for the rescue and introduces herself and her friend Cicely. Maria's like, "Man, I wish I could use magic to defend myself." She hasn't started at the Magic Academy yet, where she'll take the entrance exam next month. Girl's got no skills. Shin's like, "Yeah, me too. I'll be taking the test." Maria's impressed by his basic hand-to-hand skills that any schmo could learn. She wonders why he'd study magic when he could be a knight instead, since that seems more his speed. The 3 make a pinky promise to pass the exam and attend school together. Maria asks if Shin's heard about the famous visiting heroes, but he casually pretends not to know, playing it cool. She excitedly shares the story, not having a clue Shin's actually their grandson. What a liar. A month later, at his entrance exam, Shin walks up to the assignment board, and this totally conceited dude named Kurt shoves in and grabs his shoulder, demanding his spot like a jerk. But Shin's having none of it, and knocks the punk down. Kurt causes a scene until Prince August shows up and shuts him down. Shin thinks of August as his cuz and casually calls him bro, which the prince finds hilariously charming. During the tests, Shin couldn't believe how pathetic the other candidates were with their weak sauce skills. When it's his turn, the instructor's like, "Yo, try not to show off too much, kid." But Shin leaves everyone jaw-dropped by totally demolishing those dummies like it's nothing because he's just so awesome. Maria and Cicely see Shin just casually chatting with the prince and they freak out. "Yo, hold up! Who the heck is this Shin guy really?" Due to his crazily high score, Shin's expected to give a speech at the ceremony, but he's like, nah, until August insists he's gotta respect tradition and stop being so cocky. At the ceremony, Maria and Cicely finally realize Shin is the legendary hero's grandson. Afterward, he gives a speech to all the wide-eyed new students who are in awe of his greatness. Classes begin, and they meet Professor Alfred Marcus. Dude's got a serious vibe. After class, Maria asks Shin for help. Cicely's got a stalker from some influential family who's threatening her even after rejection. What a creep. The stalker turns out to be none other than our pal Kurt. Apparently, the punk's salty about not making Class S and holds a grudge against Shin for shaming him before. Kurt tries intimidating Cicely, hinting he could make her dad lose his job if he wanted. What a bully. But then August steps in, pulling a power move on Kurt and threatening the same against his own dad. As Kurt leaves in shame, he warns Shin about his hero complex. "Like chill, bro? We get it. You're the good guy." Concerned for the girls' safety, Shin offers up his place for them to stay nearby. After chatting with her folks, Maria also decides to crash there. August and his bodyguards stick around too, just in case Kurt tries anything shady. At Shin's crib, they get the idea to enchant their uniforms for extra protection. When Melina hears the plan, she gets concerned. "Yo, Cicely, you sure you know what you're getting into here with magic stuff?" But seeing her determination, Melina's like, 8, I approve. Just be careful with that powerful gear and don't do anything I wouldn't do. Shin promptly enchants August's uniform too without hesitation because he just can't help himself. Maria, though, she decides she wants no trouble or extra work. And to be safe, Shin offers to walk with Cicely to school every day, adding some protective magic spice and going into full bodyguard mode. At school, they get a tour of all the clubs and facilities. Most students had already picked their clubs, but Shin was clueless as usual. August suggests, "With your skills, bro, you could start your own club." Shin's unsure at first, but after some peer pressure, he ends up creating his own advanced magic crew to show off. That night, DCM meets with some informants who warn him that demon activity is on the rise. They suspect someone's artificially creating these bad boys. DCM orders the Hunter Society to investigate. Meanwhile, at Kurt's crib, his dad chews him out for risking his job by talking smack about his status. Kurt insists he can't mingle with common folk and wants to beat down Shin. His pops smacks Kurt and locks him in his room. At school, word spreads that Kurt's grounded. Shin asks if he was always such a conceited jerk, but people say he changed when he started visiting Professor Strom. Dude's an exiled Imperial who invited gifted students to his sketchy lab. Kurt's mom begs Strom to help control her wild child. Strom visits Kurt's room where he vents about Shin stealing his girl. The prof reminds him he's special and shouldn't let it get to him, doing some weird spell on the kid. In the cafeteria, Shin and his friends keep gossiping about it all. They say with Kurt locked down, Shin doesn't need to escort Cicely anymore. But they want to stick together anyway because Shin just can't let it go. Shin mentions he can sense demons' nasty energy. He also hunted his first demon at age 10, impressing everyone with his humble brag. Back in class, Shin senses Kurt nearby, who attacks Cicely. Shin protects them, but the flames pierce his barrier. He yells for them to activate their uniform's protection, avoiding the burns, though Shin's slightly injured. Kurt loses it and goes full demon mode. Shin tells them to scram. They'd only get in the way. When Kurt goes psycho-demon style, August orders everyone to run while his guards warn the teachers. Shin decides to confront Kurt. At first, he thinks he can help but realizes something's off. Even all wild, Kurt can still talk and feel pain. That leaves Shin no choice but to take him down for good. Reluctantly, he whips out his sword and finishes Kurt off. Afterward, Shin's shaken, since it's his first time doing that. His friends, who actually hadn't gone far because they just had to watch, came back to console him. Just then, the professor shows up, having watched it all, and reveals he's behind the demon experiments. Of course, the villain turns out to be a teacher. Shin and his friends start piecing together the puzzle. Could someone have experimented on Kurt? Recalling old tales of a dude who turned demon from messing with advanced magic, it doesn't seem so crazy. Word of the fight spreads, and Shin becomes an overnight hero. The king even gives him an award, jumping on the Shin hype train. Merlin's not thrilled, though, and reminds the king he promised not to drag the boy into politics. But the king argues Shin defended the realm, just like Merlin did back in the day. Now Shin's famous, on the streets, at school, everywhere. But with fame comes drama. Everyone wants in on his study group, and the classroom is packed with Shin fanboys and fangirls. The teacher has an idea, though. Only those who can do advanced magic get in, weeding out all the posers. Meanwhile, 2 new kids join the class. Mark, from a famous weapons-making family, and Olivia, owner of a popular restaurant. Coincidence? Sounds like convenient new side characters. Elsewhere, 2 Kingdom investigators track down Strom. To them, he's not a suspect, but they question him since he taught Kurt. Strom claims he just helped gifted students ever since he lost his vision and developed sensing powers. Says he nurtures kids with potential now. Yeah, right. The investigators realize something's fishy and ask him to help investigate. They bring Strom to the supposed corpse but plan to arrest him since they know he's behind the human-demon experiments. Strom's suspicious and tries to flee despite being outnumbered. He blasts through a wall and runs into Shin's group, who happen to be passing by. What are the odds? August recognizes him as his old teacher. Learning Strom turned Kurt into a demon, Shin charges at him. Strom gets cocky and decides to fight Shin, using his flying advantage and trapping Shin in debris. But Shin sees an opening and with magic shoes reaches Strom in the air, cutting off his eye patch, revealing he's no blind man but a demon himself. Strom considers himself above humans and plans to experiment on everyone. Sensing the danger, Shin immediately moves to finish him off with an attack that seemingly fails. Or so Strom thinks, as Shin was actually channeling solar energy for a devastating strike. Strom can't withstand it and disappears. People believe Shin defeated him, but he knows Strom escaped. Of course, the villain gets away. The next day, Melina suspects something between Shin and Cicely. So she asks Maria, who clarifies Cicely's rejected many confessions but now seems to like Shin. They're likely in the crush phase, but nothing official yet. How cute. With that settled, Shin goes with the girls and Prince to the armory. On the way, Shin tells August that Strom may still live since there was a hole at the blast site he could have escaped through. August says to spend whatever's needed, the kingdom will pay, wanting Shin well-armed to face Strom again. Days later, Shin's at the castle for his official hero ceremony before the nobles. What an ego boost. The next day, crowds outside his home make school tough, so he portals there instead. His friends are amazed, especially one girl who wants to learn the spell. Shin gathers everyone and mentions the recent strange events, ever the wise leader. He urges them to improve combat and defense skills and enchant protective accessories. Meanwhile, in the Empire, Strom recovers from his wounds with help from his disciple Miriam. Oh great, another villain's sidekick. War is raging. Imperial troops were caught off guard at the border. A soldier warns the king that the attack forces have been defeated and demons are also attacking the capital. The king orders a quick return to face the demons. At the border, the general learns the enemy is retreating and wants to pursue them to finish it. But they encounter several demons blocking the path. Strom's work, having arrived in the capital with Miria. After a few days, the capital is in shambles with demons still causing chaos. The furious king demands order immediately. Entering the throne room, he's shocked to find Strom waiting. The king becomes trapped in a spell and goes flying with an energy ball. 3 days later, Dicium's army reaches the Blue Sphere capital, finding it destroyed by demons. The military leader, Dominic, comments it seems the empire has collapsed. Strom confirms it, even thanking them for weakening the troops and easing his takeover. Suddenly, several demons appear, and Dominic, knowing they're outmatched, retreats with the troops. Days later, he informs the king and commanders about what transpired. Meanwhile, at the Magic Academy, the professor tells students Strom has over a dozen demons and human demons with unknown plans. So he encourages honing skills in coordination with the army to be ready if the battle comes. Moreover, night school students will join training to work alongside mages. This news doesn't sit well with some, as knights often look down on mages, calling them sprouts for supposedly being weak. Shin tries motivating others that it's not so dire, but some resent him since he can use a sword. They ask who trained him, and he responds it was Michael, name-dropping the pros already. All are shocked to hear he means the former Knight Order commander, known as one of the kingdom's greatest swordsmen. Although the knights had insulted and doubted Shin at first, he had kindly offered to train together. But the girls were still reluctant because swords are scary. In the end, it was decided 4 students from each school would form teams of 8 to fight demons near the capital. Shin assembled a group with the girls and his buddy August, plus 4 cocky knights who seemed skeptical of the hero descendant's skills. During the carriage ride, Shin casually asked if they had fought demons before. The knights took offense, thinking Shin was bragging. Shin tried explaining he only wanted to help them survive this obviously dangerous mission. As the prince, August proposed a friendly wager: defeat a demon without magic. The knights agreed to defend their honor. When they reached the forest, Christina and Siegfried were to oversee training. As they walked the trail chatting about abilities, Shin sensed an approaching demon with his super special powers. Siegfried ordered the knights to prepare for battle. The demon turned out to be a boar possessed by dark energy. The arrogant knights tried showing off but couldn't beat it. Shin stepped in and finished the pig with one swipe. Christina scolded the knights' clear lack of skill, noting that demon was weak sauce. Cecilia kindly healed the injured knights, making Shin jealous. The guys started flirting with Cicely, angering Shin more. Meanwhile, Siegfried felt more powerful demons nearing. Shin asked to face them alone, and Siegfried agreed. Christina ordered the others to safety as Shin readied for the fight. He channeled his immense power, creating an explosion destroying 100 demons and part of the forest. Miranda sincerely apologized to Shin for envying him and trying to show off due to her insecurities. She also apologized to Cicely for misinterpreting their relationship, clarifying they're just friends for now. Later, they worked together to defeat a demon bear. The mages attacked from behind as the knights struck from the front, injuring the bear enough for Miranda to deliver the final blow. Cicely gently healed the brave knight's wounds. Siegfried praised Shin's impressive magic skills. Shin humbly explained his training followed Merlin's wise principles, focused on visualizing and manipulating magical energy.